Okay, so on both these problems, you're asked to find the domain of the functions. Well, this first one, we only concern ourselves with really two things when we're talking about domain. And that is zeros in denominators and then negatives and here's the key, even roots. Because this is an odd root, the fifth root, then you can find the fifth root of a negative number. That's okay, because a number can be raised to the fifth power and remain negative. So there is nothing on this that limits your domain. You can put whatever you want in there for x, and you're going to get a value out for f of x. So the domain for this would either be this, representing all real numbers. That's the best way to do it. Or you could say, you might see it like this occasionally, right, the set of all real numbers. But the best way to say it is just say the domain is a set of from negative infinity to infinity, all numbers. There's nothing that gives you problems. Now, in the second one, there is something that gives you a problem because this is an even root. So we got to find out when is 60 minus 15x squared less than 0. And then you just solve this problem. So you're going to have, you can change it to 60 is less than 15x squared by adding 15x squared, divide by 15. Actually, the better way to do this problem would be to factor at this point. So factor out of 15, and you'd have 4 minus x squared. Right, if you factor 15 out, is less than 0. And then you've got, so 15, and then 2 minus x, 2 plus x. So the possible values for x are negative 2 and 2. So we make our chart. This is just a quadratic inequality. Remember, on quadratic inequalities, you make your number line and you find out what makes it true. You know, which ones of these regions between negative infinity and negative 2 and 2, and 2 and infinity, what regions make it true? So we pick points. Negative 3, if I plug negative 3 in for here, okay, negative 3 is going to give me 9. 15 times 9 is definitely going to be bigger than 60, so that's going to be negative. So yeah, right there, that makes the inequality negative. Plug in 0, you're just going to get 60, which is not less than 0, so this makes it positive. And then you put in 3, because you're squaring it, you're going to get the exact same thing as negative 3. So the regions that is less than 0 are from negative 2 to negative infinity and 2 to infinity. So everything else is what your domain is. So in between there is negative 2 and 2. And so your answer to this question, the domain, is between negative 2 and 2, because that is when 60 minus 15x squared is greater than or equal to 0. And that's your answer. There are no zeros in the denominator, so you can't do anything else with that problem.